They say school teaches you the lessons before the test, but life gives you the test first and the lesson later. When everything seems to fall apart and when your plans don't work, your dreams feel distant and your heart feels heavy, that's when your real education begins. Because, my friend, your bad times are not destroying you. They're instructing you. Adversity is life's most honest teacher. It doesn't arrive with a smile or a kind introduction. It enters uninvited, disrupts your peace, and forces you to face what you've been avoiding. It doesn't care about your plans or your comfort. It cares about your growth. The truth is, no great transformation ever begins in comfort. Growth begins where ease ends. When everything seems uncertain, when you can no longer predict what tomorrow will bring, that's when your education truly begins. Because in those moments of confusion and struggle, you are not just learning facts, you are learning who you really are. In the classroom of adversity, there are no textbooks, no teachers with soft voices, and no notes to memorize. The lessons come disguised as disappointments, failures, and heartbreaks. Every difficult day, every rejection, every sleepless night, they all become your syllabus. You learn to think differently, act wisely, and respond maturely. Life tests you without warning, and sometimes it feels unfair. But that's exactly the point. Adversity doesn't exist to make things fair. It exists to make you faithful, focused, and fearless. It strips away the illusions you once held and teaches you to rely not on luck, but on courage and discipline. School may teach you theories about success, but adversity teaches you the reality of it. You learn that success isn't built in moments of applause, but in silent nights of persistence. You learn that talent means nothing without endurance, and that real confidence comes not from being praised, but from surviving what was meant to break you. When adversity enters your life, it doesn't just change your circumstances, it reshapes your character. It forces you to think deeper, to feel stronger, and to act with purpose. Every trial becomes a lesson in emotional intelligence, every obstacle a test of faith, and every setback an opportunity to evolve. Adversity trains your mind to see solutions where others see problems. It sharpens your intuition and develops your patience. It teaches you that control is an illusion and that surrender is strength. It builds resilience the way fire forges steel, by heat, by pressure, by resistance. When life gets hard, it's not a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that you're learning. The classroom of adversity never closes its doors, because as long as you live, it keeps refining your mind, deepening your wisdom, and preparing you for the next chapter that only strength can open. Pain changes the way you see the world. It opens your eyes to details you once ignored, to truths you once denied, and to strengths you never knew you possessed. When you go through pain, you start to see beyond the surface of things. You begin to notice what truly matters, not the noise, not the validation, not the temporary wins, but the essence of life itself. Pain strips away the unnecessary layers and leaves you face to face with reality. It humbles you. It teaches you to listen, to observe, to feel more deeply. You stop judging life from the outside and begin to understand it from the inside. You begin to realize that what once looked like failure was actually direction, and what once felt like loss was preparing space for something more meaningful. When pain enters your life, it forces you to slow down. It silences your ego and amplifies your awareness. You become more sensitive to the emotions of others, more patient with their struggles, and more compassionate toward their pain. The more you hurt, the more your perception expands. You begin to see that everyone is fighting battles you can't see. You start to understand that the people who seem strong are often the ones holding themselves together by faith alone. Pain gives you that rare insight, the kind of perception that no book, no lecture, and no motivational speech can give. It awakens your empathy. It teaches you to value kindness because you know how it feels to need it. Pain also clears your vision about yourself. It exposes your weaknesses, but in doing so, it reveals your hidden power. You discover what you can endure, how far you can stretch, and how deeply you can love even when you're broken. Pain teaches discernment, the ability to separate what is genuine from what is false. It teaches you to recognize who truly stands with you and who only stands near you when things are easy. It gives you wisdom to see through appearances, to trust your intuition, and to understand that not everything that glitters deserves your attention. Through pain, your eyes adjust to the darkness and you start seeing the light that was invisible before. You begin to perceive life not as something happening to you, but as something shaping you. Pain doesn't just hurt, it refines your vision, expands your understanding, and teaches you to look at life with clarity, gratitude, and depth. Failure is one of life's most misunderstood teachers. Most people fear it, avoid it, and feel ashamed of it. But the truth is, failure is where strength is born. It strips away the illusion of perfection and exposes the raw, unfiltered version of who you are. When everything falls apart, when your best efforts don't bring results, you're forced to dig deeper, beyond your talents, beyond your comfort, beyond your pride. That digging, that searching, that relentless decision to try again even when it hurts, that's how inner strength is built. You don't develop resilience in moments of applause. You develop it in silence when no one believes in you, not even yourself. Every failure becomes a mirror that shows you your limits, but also whispers, you can go further. Failure doesn't destroy strong people. It reveals them. It teaches you humility because it reminds you that effort doesn't always guarantee outcome. It teaches patience because it makes you wait longer than you ever wanted to. And it teaches courage because you must keep walking even after falling. Each setback is a test of your spirit, a challenge to your determination. You start to realize that the world doesn't reward those who never fail. It rewards those who never quit. The bruises you get from falling down aren't marks of shame, they are marks of growth. Proof that you had the courage to participate in life instead of standing on the sidelines. Failure doesn't weaken you. It breaks down what is weak in you so the strong can rise. In failure, you also learn the truth about persistence. You begin to understand that success isn't a single victory, but the accumulation of countless small recoveries. You learn to stand taller, not because life becomes easier, but because you become stronger. You start trusting your ability to rebuild, to adapt, and to rise no matter how many times you fall. Failure shapes your character more deeply than success ever could. It refines your attitude, disciplines your mind, and deepens your gratitude. Because once you face the pain of falling, even the smallest progress feels sacred. And as you rebuild yourself brick by brick, you realize that your strength was never in avoiding failure. It was always in learning how to rise after it. Experience has a way of teaching lessons that no classroom ever could. Education gives you theories, but experience gives you truth. It doesn't follow a syllabus, and it doesn't wait for your readiness. It arrives suddenly, through heartbreak, rejection, loss, or even unexpected opportunity, and forces you to learn in real time. You can study about success for years, but you'll never understand it until you've failed, rebuilt, and tried again. You can read about leadership, but you won't grasp it until you've had to make a difficult decision that cost you sleep. Experience has a different kind of authority. It doesn't just inform your mind, it transforms your soul. It teaches through feeling, not memorization. What you live through becomes part of you in a way that no lecture ever can. In school, mistakes are marked in red. In life, they are written in scars. And those scars carry wisdom far greater than any grade or diploma. When you experience struggle, you don't just learn facts, you learn resilience. You learn to adapt, to improvise, to find solutions when the path ahead disappears. You learn the value of time, the importance of patience, and the reality that knowledge without experience can sometimes be hollow. Because true understanding doesn't come from reading about pain, it comes from surviving it. It doesn't come from studying human behavior, but from living among people, being hurt, being loved, being disappointed, and still choosing to care. Experience gives you depth. It humbles the proud and strengthens the humble. It teaches you how to respond when life doesn't follow the plan you carefully designed. While education teaches you what to think, experience teaches you how to think. It sharpens your judgment, strengthens your instincts, and helps you see beyond appearances. You begin to understand that intelligence isn't measured by what you know, but by how you handle what you don't know. Experience trains you to navigate uncertainty, to stand tall in chaos, and to remain calm when theory fails to apply. Every challenge you faced, every mistake you've made, and every lesson you've learned through trial, they become your living education. They teach you not just how to succeed, but how to stay grounded when you do. Experience molds you into someone who doesn't just understand life, but truly knows it, deeply, personally, and unforgettably. Pressure is the force that shapes potential into power. It's uncomfortable, it's demanding, and it rarely feels pleasant, yet it's the very thing that transforms you. Just as coal becomes a diamond under immense pressure, the human spirit shines its brightest when life squeezes it the hardest. Growth never happens in the soft, easy places. It happens when you are stretched beyond your limits, when the weight of responsibility, fear, and uncertainty presses on your heart. That pressure is not meant to crush you. It's meant to create you. Every challenge, every heavy moment that tests your patience and faith is actually shaping something greater inside you. The parts of yourself that remain untested will always remain undeveloped, and pressure is the tool life uses to bring those hidden strengths to the surface. When life feels overwhelming, when everything demands more of you than you think you can give, that's when your true capacity begins to unfold. You discover endurance not when things go smoothly, but when everything seems impossible and you still move forward anyway. Pressure teaches you persistence. It forces you to prioritize what truly matters, to find clarity in chaos, and to push through fear even when courage feels out of reach. It builds emotional muscles that no comfort zone ever could. Just as the body grows stronger through resistance, the mind and soul strengthen through adversity. Each wave of pressure refines you, removing what is weak, distracting, or unnecessary, until only what is essential remains: your strength, your purpose, your faith. Without pressure, there would be no progress. It's what separates those who dream from those who do. It pushes you to evolve, to think creatively, to make decisions with conviction. Pressure makes you resourceful. It forces you to find answers when none seem available. It teaches you self-control in chaos and resilience in rejection. It molds your character in ways comfort never will. You start to see that the moments that once made you cry are the very moments that built your confidence. The days that made you doubt yourself are the same ones that strengthened your spirit. Pressure doesn't just test your limits. It expands them. It turns uncertainty into clarity, fear into determination, and struggle into unstoppable strength. Gratitude for hard times doesn't come naturally. It's something you grow into once you realize what those difficult seasons truly gave you. When you're in the middle of pain, gratitude feels almost impossible. The storm feels too strong, the nights too long, and the silence too heavy. But when you look back, you begin to see what those moments were really doing. They were building your patience, teaching you humility, and guiding you toward wisdom that comfort could never provide. Every hardship carries a hidden gift, but it can only be seen with time and perspective. Gratitude begins when you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this teaching me?" Because behind every loss, every delay, and every disappointment, there's a lesson that reshapes your soul and deepens your understanding of life. Hard times teach you what gratitude truly means. Not the kind you express when things go right, but the kind that lives quietly in your heart when everything goes wrong. It's easy to be thankful when life is smooth, but real gratitude is born when you can still find light in the dark. When you learn to thank life for the challenges, you start to see how those moments shaped you into someone stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. You begin to understand that strength without struggle would be shallow, and peace without pressure would be empty. Gratitude turns pain into power by shifting your focus from what you lost to what you gained in wisdom, depth, and resilience. Gratitude also humbles you. It reminds you that even in your weakest moments, you were never truly alone. Somehow you found the strength to keep going. Somehow life gave you enough grace to survive. That realization awakens a deep sense of appreciation for everything. Even the tears, the silence, the rejections, and the pauses. You start to thank the doors that closed because they led you to better ones. You thank the people who left because they made room for those meant to stay. You thank the times you were broken because they allowed light to enter the cracks. Gratitude for hard times doesn't mean you enjoyed the pain. It means you recognize the purpose within it. It means you've learned that every dark chapter carries within it the seed of your greatest transformation. So remember this: your bad times weren't sent to break you, they were sent to build you. Every struggle taught you what comfort never could. Be grateful for the lessons, proud of your strength, and trust that life's toughest moments are shaping you into someone unstoppable.